Hello everyone, Carol Undy here again with a digitizing tutorial on version 6 of the Bernina Embroidery Software Designer Plus. And today we're going to look at the carving stamp. Now, if your carving stamp isn't in your docking station here for you to click on, you can click on the little icon up here and it will appear. To keep it here, just make sure your little drawing pin is upright. If it's not, if it's on its side, left click on it so that it will stay there while you're using it. Okay, now there's various ways you can use the carving stamp. I've got a digitized area here, just a plain heart. And I'm going to just select one of the patterns. So you've got the little tab here, Use Pattern, and you've got a drop down menu here. So these are the carving stamps which are new patterns in your software, and you can use those, or you can drop the drop down menu down and you can use any of the patterns in your software that we had before. For instance, the home decorating, the heirloom, the quilting, satin quilt, satin scallops, etc. Now, if we're going to just use the carving stamps, I'll just take the letter C for instance, and once I select it, it'll appear in this window here, and I can drag it across. It's quite large. Don't worry about the size just at the moment, just put it where you would like it. You've got, if I bring it up here, you can see that you've got two little nodes either side. Your cursor is attached to the first one on the left. If you left click there, it will jump to the one on the right, and you can swing the angle around of the stamp to the angle you want it. Let's just left click it there, and it will stamp in there, and I can continue to stamp wherever I like, at whatever angle I like. So it's a very versatile tool. When you've finished stamping, just press your escape key, and then you've got some other options. You can just leave it embossed in like this. It's just basically put needle penetrations around the area so that it looks like a watermark in effect. Now you can change the appearance of that, but to change the appearance you must have the object selected. So with your select tool, just select the whole object so your nodes are around the object, showing it selected if you're in artistic view, or if you're in not in artistic view, you will see that your object has turned pink, and you can see all these extra needle penetrations around the letter C here. So that's why it looks embossed into the object. Just go back to artistic view because shows the effect better. And we've got the object selected, so we can go to appearance now, and our appearance tab will be available to us. If we hadn't selected the object, this would be greyed out, and it's just a little reminder, select the object. Now we can choose to have a softened stamp by clicking on that, and you can see that the stamp has softened, and in fact it's not all showing because of the angle of the original fill. The extra needle penetrations aren't making any difference, so it just gives a sort of soft effect. Sometimes this can be very useful, other times it's not so good, depending on what you're doing. You just need to play around and see the effects with different fills and different stitch angles. I'll just deselect the softened stamp now. The other one is the raised stamp, and it comes into Satin Stitch. Now sometimes the Satin Stitch is too long if the object is too big, and it will show up as a gap, which means that the machine couldn't really actually stitch that across there, so you may get a gap left in your stitching out. So it's best to fix it, and the reason it's like that, as I said, is because the stitch length, the stitch angle is running this way, and that stitch length would have been far too long. So there's a couple of ways. We can turn the embossing around so the stitch angle is better for the length of the stitch, as in this letter C here, although I still don't like these long stitches here. Or we can change the size of the actual stamp, and we can do that by going to our reshape tool. When we're in our reshape tool, there's a little green button or node in the center of each stamp. Left click on that and you'll get some handles around the stamp. This one here is the angle, so we can change the angle if we weren't happy with the original angle. These ones here will size, so you can bring it down to a smaller letter C if you like. And it's actually distorted quite a bit with changing the angle, so I'm going to try and move it back. And we can stretch it out or do whatever we want to. So you can play around with those, stretch it up and down. But if we make it fairly small, I'm going to just escape from that and do it again, just by shrinking it down only. Okay, and then enter, and you can see the new embossed C here. And if we go back, take it out of the reshape tool, we've got shorter stitches everywhere. So the smaller objects for the raised stamp is basically what I'm trying to tell you. To show you a few more things. So we've looked at the appearance, we've looked at the using the pattern, and we've got two other options here: use an object or digitize our own shape. So let's I'm going to open a new, I'll just close this, minimize this one down, and I've got another one here which I will maximize. There we go, so that we've got our duck here. Now if we want to digitize our own shape, we can click on the digitize and start digitizing. So left click on that, and for instance, if we want to put a bit of shape into the wing, we need to make sure we click back on top of the first node to close that object, and then hit enter if we want to make it a raised stamp. Now I'm just looking down here, I've hit enter once and it says enter point 1 on stamp boundary 2, so you could continue making more shapes if you wished. It's a bit hard to see on this grey on grey, but you'll see when I do it. I don't want to make any more shapes, so I'm just going to hit my enter button again, and the stamp hasn't actually appeared here. I just digitized it there because it was convenient for getting the scaling and the shape. You can digitize the shape anywhere on the window that you like. I could have digitized it up here if I wanted to. It's just a matter of getting the shape right, and once you've hit enter twice, it will appear here in the window. And now I can say I want to use the stamp, or if I click stamp, it will stamp exactly where I digitized it. So if you've digitized it up here, you'll need to go use stamp, and I'll just hit stamp because I digitized it exactly where I wanted. So I hit stamp, and here is my little a little bit of extra interest in the wing here. I'm going to select the object. Okay, and then when I go to my appearance, I've got that available, and I'll go raised stamp. So now I've got a bit of satin stitching through the wing there, which gives a little bit of added interest.